Okay, today's activity with Frank's assistance is John is helping me build my bookbinding board. So I marked the holes where I wanted them.
Hope these work. This is those used drill bits you bought.
And along with Frankie's assistance, even Millie's present. Hopefully you didn't go through my masonite.
That's why that's there.
Okay. I was just going to hang it over the edge, but he's got a lot more sophisticated means than I do. I'm videotaping you, by the way. Say hello, Frankie.
Now, see, if you got this board under here, it keeps you from blowing out on the backside.
Yep, this is just some kind of melamine covered masonite. Not masonite, it's not OSB. What is that? Particle board.
Actually, this is MDF.
MDF, okay.
Yeah.
It's the same thing these cabinets up here are made out of. Told you though they were tight.
Yeah. You need to go find yourself a 25-year-old.
I don't think I could keep up with a 25-year-old.
That's why I haven't traded you in on 220s.
220s would kill you. If you think that jackhammer was rough.
Well, that's the old joke.
Here's my hardware for my bookbinding press. What you doing, huh, Frankie? Okay. Okay, so we're recording again.
It holds okay. I guess I just extended it past that little clip.
Hold that up so we can see it.
What, this?
Yeah. So that's like a razor blade holder. He's using it to clean up the back sides of the boards.
The little clips go in here, and only that's to go out so far. If you do that, it'll probably be okay. It's still not the best thing I've ever seen.
You might want to look at the back of the other board first before you put that up.
It's the top board. It's fine. See? Perfect.
Okay. So the two white sides that are coated with the melamine will go together. There's a couple extra holes in them. I'll be filling that with wood filling or auto body stuff to fill them so that they don't leave any circular impressions on my book covers or papers. So now he's attaching the bolts.
Usually a 1/4-inch hole, these slip right through.
Are you sure those are 1/4-inch bolts?
Pretty sure, because no one makes
3/8.
No one makes 5/64 bolts.
Anyway, he's just threading the bolts into the wood. Move your hand away from the bolt a minute so I can see it. There you go. It's just your standard carriage bolt. And then there are black plastic knobs that he got at the hardware store or woodworking store, I'm not sure where. Woodsmith. That will go on the outside, on the outer board, to make it easier to...
You want to order them online, they're actually Rockler bolts.
Aren't you supposed to put a washer between that thread bolt head and the board? Okay.
It's a carriage bolt. It's meant to go sucked into the wood, and that's your wrench. So what you need now is a good hammer.
Gee, I wouldn't know anybody who has hammers. You've got a huge box of hammers right around the corner.
Where's your hammer?
Okie dokie. So now that we got this mess of the carriage bolt straightened out and the boards corrected, he is putting the knobs onto the carriage bolts. Between the knob and the wood is a washer that's sized appropriately for the carriage bolt. And I should, in theory, be able to stick a 3-inch book into the book press.
So you know it's going to make this better?
What?
Drill these holes a little bigger. So
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. You want your top board to be able to slide up and down the carriage bolts with ease, so that way when you have your book cover with your signatures, etc., inside of the press, things don't get knocked all wonky. Because you don't want to have it come out sloppy with after all the hard work you did of making sure all your signatures were square and making book covers and the binding and all that other stuff. So unless you're really into asymmetrical art books.
Yeah, you're gonna have to drill this hole bigger.
So
otherwise you're just gonna fight it all the time.
Yeah, I don't want to be fighting it. As you can see, because the holes are not, he's going to make the whole holes in the top board bigger because it's not wanting to separate from the bottom board.
This is going to be easier outdoors.
All right. And he took it out to the garage and drilled larger holes in the top board.
I'm putting these back in the same place they were because you got
Oh yeah, that moves much nicer now.
16th inch bigger hole.
And then on the back side of these boards, it's just plain MDF. I'm going to take some sanding sealer and put a couple coats of that down. I don't plan on putting anything wet on these boards, but that doesn't mean that something might not accidentally spill onto them in my studio when I'm working. So
technically don't need the washers, but it'll give you something to slide against.
Yeah. And this is just 2 scrap pieces of lumber that he had out in the garage. He was going to put them underneath my computer monitor over here. Zoom out. But we didn't need it. So I decided last night, really late, that hey, you know what? These would be the perfect size for making like little 6x8 or 8-inch square books. He said the largest he thought I could get in there would be 9 inches square.
Yep.
So I could do 7x9 books or 6x9, 8x9, 9x9. So. Yep, that's nice.
Yeah.
And if I want to get bigger books, like larger than 2.5 inches thick, I can put in larger carriage bolts. Hi, Millie. She's like, oh, there's room back here.
So this is about as thick as you can go, about an inch.
Okay.
If you want to go thicker, put those longer bolts in.
Yeah, well, I have options, so.
Well, these will give you a lot more. You can go probably 3 inches.
Why don't we change those out and start with those instead? Because that's probably where I'm going to be, is probably about a 2.5, 3 inch book.
Now, you're going to need to get room to get it in there.
So. What is that, about a 6 inch carriage bolt or an 8 inch?
It would be, it's actually 5 7/8. It'd be a 6 inch.
Okay.
But you're losing an 1.5 inches here, and you're losing at least a 1/2 inch here. So you're losing 2 inches. This will give you a 4 inch slot.
Well, good to know. So you really don't need any expensive woods or anything to make this with. You can easily make this with scrap lumber. I saw quite a few people making them out of bamboo cutting boards, but I was not able to find any in the size range I wanted, so I could do 11 by 14 journals or handmade books that didn't have the grooves that go around on the side.
And besides, your husband's having a conniption fit, spending $20 on bamboo boards when I got free wood out of the garage.
He's a woodworker, what can I say? He's got carpentry skills, he used to build houses, and he's got woodworking skills, cabinet making skills, so.
Well, I'm not quite up to the standards of green and green, though.
Yeah, well, we'll keep that commentary off to the side. We're videotaping. So this takes a little fiddling to get it all going and good, but once you got it on,
if you're of the female persuasion and think you can't do this, go to YouTube and watch C. Jane Drill. She's got a lot of good stuff that even I learned things from.
I've got Loctite up there in that little carousel. It's on the second tray from the top, almost dead south, and that little black and blue bottle's black with a little bright blue top. Now, I don't recommend normally using a brass hammer on steel bolts, but my other hammer's in a toolbox way on the other side of the studio, buried under 2 other toolboxes, and I didn't feel like digging out, so he's using my brass hammer instead.
It won't hurt anything. We're just tapping a steel bolt into some soft wood.
Yeah.
I was trying to tap it into steel, and yeah,
it would be a big problem. How much space did you say that was? About 4 inches?
That's 3.5.
Okay.
You could, so 2.5, 7.
All right.
7.5, 8 centimeters for your metric folks.
Thank you, sweetheart.